Good evening, friends, and welcome to the first day of 2025. And here we have on the first session of 2025 of Candid Meena, we have our special guest, Desh Kapoor. Welcome, Deshji.
Thank you, Jaidev.
So Desh, starting with the first piece of news, and we have a lot of things. Donald Trump is going to come to office very soon as president of the U.S., and a lot of equations are going to change in the world, be it in Russia, Ukraine, or be it in Israel, Iran, and so forth. So, starting with the first topic, friends, is that days after it's regarding the H-1B visa, and Elon Musk defended the H-1B visa. He shifted his stance, calling the program broken, and are calling for major reforms with regards to this particular visa, including higher salaries and additional costs to make hiring overseas workers more expensive. So, and also Indian American Congressman Sri Tanedar, a Democrat from Michigan, has spoken out against all Hindu phobia and racism in the US after becoming the target of a wave of hateful rhetoric over the weekend. Desh, I do understand that there's a lot of section of the Trump supporters who are not in favor of non-white people occupying high states in the office. So, what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's been quite a disturbing, week, the entire week, last one, because of all the rhetoric, all the hate, the vitriol that has been targeted towards the Indian Americans, and I think it has gone beyond just the H-1B, because quite obviously Vivek Ramaswamy is not an H-1B guy, and neither are other folks, but they have targeted every one of them. And the thing is that it started because of Laura Loomer, and what is really surprising is that just one tweet or one X post has started a wave of all this, right, going on. Now, when I look at all this, first of all, does H-1B visa process needs to be changed and made better? Absolutely. In fact, the entire immigration needs to be improved. Immigration right now, Elon Musk has said that, other people have said that, Vivek Ramaswamy has said that so many times. It actually promotes and motivates people to lie. And that's the truth, right? And it's not as if the H-1B visa has not been misused by folks. It has been. We have seen that it has been misused by so many companies, so many people who started running almost sweatshops here, and that's a sad part, but that is how it has been. Yes, but does that mean that H-1B folks who have come here and who have contributed largely have not done good work here? They have, and most of them actually rise. See, the thing is, if I look at the US economy right now, a lot of there are a lot of issues, right? Social security, the Medicare, and all those things are not. The money is not there to pay them off. But I think a large number of workers who are immigrants, who are still not actually getting the benefits, they are the ones who are contributing to it in a big way. So I think it's 1 point some percent of Indian Americans who are on H-1B, and they Indian Americans, and they contribute almost 6% to the entire taxes. And a lot of those taxes actually go towards the social security as well as Medicare. So in a way, at the time when I came in late 1990s, at that time it took me almost 9 years to get my citizenship, and almost how many 6 years just to get my green card. Now it still takes a long time to actually get the green card. Now they are saying it's anywhere from 20 20 to almost 100 years, depending on whom you talk to and like what area they have come in. So if that is the case, then I think the people who are actually contributing right now in all those taxes and all those social security and Medicare will not be able to get the benefit out of it. So they are just paying for the people who are actually going to retire in the next 10 to 15 years. That's one thing. Second is that, like if I go to the larger cities and the new subdivisions which are coming up, even houses which are over $500,000, look, most of the homes these days are over $500,000. In those subdivisions, you see almost 90 to 99% of the homes are bought by Indians. Whether you go to states like Texas, Dallas, cities like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, or even Austin, or you come to say Georgia, Atlanta, you go to New Jersey, you go to Florida, it's the same story everywhere. And like it has come to a point where actually the builders, they also know that Indians actually favor north facing and east facing homes. So in fact, there's one builder who actually is like pretty big, Lennar. They actually make puja rooms also now. So the point is that if suppose tomorrow they shut down H1B and they say, okay, all you guys need to go, the real estate industry here will collapse. A lot of these people who have bought the houses are on H1B, right? So this is very important. And the third thing which I think they are not considering is that in 2010, the white population here was around 196 million. That has fallen down to now 191 million in 2020. In 10 years, 5 million, the population fell by 5 million. Basically, the run rate is 500,000 a year, right? In Japan, the population of the Japanese is falling by around 8 to 900, almost a million a year. In Europe, again, the population is really falling. Now, if you really look at all the areas, all the places where the young people are more in number, right, in the populations, those population centers are Africa, are Latin America, a few places, Middle East, and India, and not even China. So if that is the case, then the question that like people will have is, from where would you like to have the next wave of immigration so that you can take care of your country? Otherwise, slowly and steadily, the population will keep on decreasing. And all this, bravado about, like we want to keep the American, values intact and all those things. Like they don't even, probably half of them don't even know what the real American values are. And for all these years, like I don't know how much of democracy has been prevalent in the US because of all the deep state. Now this election was run against the deep state, which had taken over the entire democracy. So that means then in last 2025, at least 20-25 years, the democracy was declining substantially. So I don't know what American values are we fighting for when the person who was at the two people who were at the forefront of this fight were Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, both immigrants. So there is a problem, and see, it's not as if, and when you look at the left is rejoicing, like all the left-leaning Indian Americans who have always targeted Hindus are actually rejoicing in all this. That's the sad part, because they think they are not Hindu enough, or they are not Indian American enough for them to feel bad or like feel targeted. But when as somebody was saying once, that like when they come and like try to target you, they don't care what your stance has been or what your narrative has been. They look at your skin and then they look at your name and then target you wherever you are. So that's the that's the sad part, that the left leaning side is equally against the Indians in general and Hindus in particular. And so, and on the other side, the right, the extreme right that we have within the Trump MAGA group is also against the Hindus and also the Indians. So it's a, like, it was something that we all realized when like all of us were trying to go towards the MAGA or the Trump side. Uh, but at this moment in time, the problem is that the world itself was at stake. Our entire generation and probably our civilization in many ways was at stake, because like we have seen what has gone on. So it's a very serious thing. We'll see a rise in hate against the Hindus in particular and Indians in general. So that is going to happen. I think it is targeted, in such like in some way by some of the forces. Like one cannot, exactly name who they are, because I think somebody is behind this sudden eruption that has happened from just one ex post, and it's sad. And there will be reactions back and forth. And I'm hoping that once the new administration takes over, then things will settle down quite a bit. So that's a hope.
Yeah. So, Desh, do you see these American MNC companies also maybe not giving jobs to Indian origin people and preferring other nationalities? You see that happening, or is it purely skill based? They just look at skill and experience.
They look at skills and experience and like what they really need for the job. I mean, there is no other place, anywhere else in any other country where you'll find uh, all the universities, the skills, the population, young population, and the ecosystem which creates that kind of IT professionals. It is just not there. It's only there in India, and that is why they actually come towards India all the time, because uh, like that is the right place to like come from most of the companies. Even outsourcing, they have tried other places. Maybe the call centers in Philippines and other places may work well, but in terms of the IT work, it's very tough, because see, the thing is, it's not just the MNCs, it's also the Indian IT companies. They have a fairly big scale, and it's been, and there in India, like you have an ecosystem where a person can work in Infosys in one day, and 2 years like later, that same person is working, say, in TCS or in Accenture or IBM, and that kind of talent transfer can happen. You cannot expect that to happen in, say, Malaysia or Philippines or Nigeria, because they do not have their own captive companies there which can create that kind of scale. So that is still lacking. So Indian IT companies in this way have contributed a lot in terms of keeping that work within India. Like, of course, they have offices outside, but in terms of creating that scale, um, that's not possible anywhere else.
Okay. So, Desh, going to the next topic, and Bangladesh has received the first import of rice from India, and the Mohammed Yunus government is also cozying up with the Pakistan government, and it seems that the Pakistan army is training Bangladeshi soldiers. And the latest news is the Saint Martin's Island of Bangladesh has fallen to Arakan army. So what? So a lot of things are happening in Bangladesh. It seems that the island has fallen to Arakan army, and Pakistan government is training Bangladeshi soldiers. So how do you see this? For is it a huge concern for India?
Uh, no, I think. See, the thing is, Pakistan itself is in a very bad state, right? I mean, right now, as the Afghanistan army or the Taliban, like folks are coming and like trying to hit Pakistanis, and they have actually like gone inside and been executing their people, and so it's not like that easy for Pakistan right now against Afghanistan. I don't know who gave the wisdom for the Pakistanis to go and strike within Afghanistan. If they feel that they control them more than they do, and then all power to them, because they don't. And it's not easy to fight the Afghanistan Taliban folks now, and the reason is because they know the inside out of the Pakistani army and ISI and how they work. They have been in very very close touch. See, uh, like first of all, Pakistan has always backed the wrong horse. Like they keep on saying, well, we are the ones who threw oh,
You can see.
yeah. So so what happened was actually like Pakistan, like when they started like the whole thing about Soviet fight, right, when they worked with the CIA. It was actually Ahmad Shah Massoud who was one of the generals whom Pakistan ISI trained and who went rogue on ISI, who really threw out the Soviets. It was not the Pakistan-backed folks, which was Dostam and Hikmatyar at that time. Hikmatyar was the person that they were backing, and he was always against Ahmad Shah Massoud. And like when they thought that Hikmatyar was not able to uh, fight Ahmad Shah Massoud and kill him, that's when they came up with Taliban. Taliban was created from all the folks that they had been training and putting in the madrasas there in Pakistan, both poor Pakistanis as well as poor Afghanis. And they are the ones whom they created in the shape of Taliban. Taliban actually went and fought Ahmad Shah Massoud and Rabbani, and they were moved out. And so Taliban, in that sense, was very close to Pakistan, and they understand how it's all going. Somehow, in this like version of their regime, they have turned against Pakistan. The old generals who used to run the Talibanis or the Taliban army and Taliban like militants still think that they are the bosses. They are not, but that is how they still think. And the world has changed. The world has changed in a way that the controls that they used to have, they no longer have. In Bangladesh, they want to do exactly the same thing that they try to do in Afghanistan. Now, that may work for a very short period of time, but it cannot go on for a very long period because Pakistan does not have anything, with it. It does not have, their own general, the army general has said that they do not have, arms and ammunition, the ammunition to actually fight or the fuel to fight even a week's war. So, what can they give to, Bangladesh? Their jets that they got from China, their parts are not available. They are not getting the parts for F-16s. They cannot. They do not have the arms or ammunition to fight their own wars. So how can they do anything for Bangladesh? And then Bangladesh is all surrounded by India. So they really do not have much of an option right now. They will act and try to punch above their weight. As far as Arakan army is concerned, Arakan army was more aligned to China, right? And I think when Dr. Jaishankar worked with Wang Yi of China, the foreign minister that they have, I think the aim was to start working with them to control this Pakistani invasion that we can call Pakistani invasion, which was See, Pakistan is just a hired assassin kind of a thing for the deep state, that America had, that Biden administration had, not really America. So in that sense, like they are the ones who are trying to come in, and like Arakan army has been able to make substantial inroads. Right now, I don't know whether I haven't found information outside of the some of the Indian channels saying that they have actually conquered or taken over Saint Martin Islands. They haven't taken over the Saint Martin Island. What they have done is that around that area, the territory that they have like taken over, that way they are not allowing any of the transport to go from the mainland to St. Martin's. They have control over Cox Bazar and that area as well. So that means that they have a very strong control over that place itself. Now, so if you look at what India could gain out of all this is that Bangladesh will be, severely impacted by all this, because slowly and slowly their, a territory will go away. Somehow, the Indian army will also try and make some, inroads. There is this, I think it's Sitwe, the like Myanmar's, port that also has been taken over, or like has like Indian, control now. So if you look at that entire area has very strong Indian, Indian presence. Those countries cannot work without the Indian backing. So in that sense, I don't think it is a concern for India. I think I was wrong. Actually, it was Dovalji who met Wangi, like not Dr. Jaishankar. So all these people, the Indian establishment is doing all the right moves right now in terms of Bangladesh. It will take if US tries to, if the deep state tries to meddle a lot and do things in Bangladesh, then it could happen that in the coming years, Bangladesh could actually become like a Vietnam for them, because there is enough of like I would say infighting, or both the forces there, both for Mujibur Rahman as well as for Khalida Zia, who can like Mujibur Rahman, like lineage, Sheikh Hasina, who can actually create a lot of insurgencies there. So I don't think Indians need to be like worried. I think the administration or establishment, Modi establishment, is doing all the right things. It's just that this will play out. India has promised, rice, which I think is a good thing, because that is a direct, a gesture to the Bangladeshis, who are not all, behaving properly, but like it is something that can be, leveraged in future when the right time comes.
So coming to the next piece of news, and it is with regards to Donald Trump and Putin. And Donald Trump's recent social media post has proposed the annexation of Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal. And this has created a lot of outrage among American allies. But in Russia, they're celebrating this as a gift to Vladimir Putin. So, how do you see this, Desha? Do you see that this really happening or something?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think Donald Trump says, or makes statements a lot for different kind of pressurizing tactics. He may not actually mean that. I don't think it is easy or possible to take over Canada. I mean,
Yes.
like when they say, like even though Canada is no match for US, but like it just won't make any sense. And all the problems that they have will come and transfer over to the US, which US may not want. At some point, maybe the US will want to have a closer alliance, much more closer than it has right now, because of all the water resources and the energy resources that it has. And as far as the Greenland is concerned, creating, see, Greenland is near the Arctic, and if US tries to control it, then it would be very easy for Russia to create, you know, like other issues there, like like enter and like do some kind of like interference there, and like blow up the whole issue quite a bit. So uh, you know, like America will be out of its mind to try and do that. Like whether it wants to do a covert regime change and all that, I don't know why it would want to do that. But I think, like, Donald Trump has a way of pushing people in different ways. Sometimes to get reaction, and sometimes to let his like idea like be transferred like in a very provocative way. So he's saying all these things, but he's also trying to show that like I'm not going to take like work with these people very easily. So if Canada thinks that they can roughshod over the US and keep expecting that same kind of response that US has had, that won't happen. So things will change for Canada quite a bit, like in that sense. There may be much more parity going forward, but I don't think that like takeover or any of those things is possible. So as far as the impact on Putin is concerned, I think like I don't know why people are even discussing that, because both fundamentally are very different. See, not many people would say this like today, but I know in the next 20, 25 years, maybe 30 years or 50 years from now, people will say that the only reason why the World War III or a nuke war did not start this year was because of the wisdom, sagacity, and the patience of Putin. Because they pulled every lever, they pushed him in every way possible to start that war. That he did not do that goes to his credit, because America has left no stone unturned to actually start the war. And like they think that this is the way to like make things happen. I don't know why they are like doing that, why they are thinking like that, because the weapons that even Russia has are extremely powerful. And if they think they can get away with it, I think it's a big miscalculation. Even those elite people who think that they can like get into a bunker and they'll be safe in Swiss Alps, because it may not like be that safe anymore.
It was according to a Russian state-owned media report.
Right.
There was a plan proposed by Donald Trump's team to end the Russia-Ukraine war by deferring Kyiv's NATO membership in exchange for a ceasefire.
I had heard about that some time back. So it was that like some people from Donald Trump's team behind the scenes were working with Russia and Kremlin for this, and that is why there were these two camps going on like within the US establishment. And the problem with America is that America really does not have a leader. We just do not have a president right now. There is nobody who is going to go out there and start negotiating or start discussing with anyone, because the president is right now is not capable, and the vice president is again probably not capable and not in the right frame of mind to do anything. So America is running leaderless right now. That is the truth. So in that sense, the de facto leadership right now is being taken over by the incoming team of Donald Trump at the geopolitical level, at the higher negotiation level. There is an underlying, subversion tactics that the team behind Biden administration keeps doing, and that they'll keep doing. And I think the only reason why they have not been able to succeed to start the World War III is because such actions are being taken behind the scenes. So whatever deal that happens will happen in a way that, like, Russia, wherever it has come up to, will remain there, and Ukraine will not get the NATO membership, and that is where things will stand. Now, does that mean that it will be peace forever? I don't think so, because a lot of leaders and interest groups, within Europe, are heavily invested in all this. So there is not just a military industrial complex in the US, there is also a military industrial complex in Europe, which, and when the when Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Kash Patel, and Tulsi Gabbard, when they go after the deep state within the US, a lot of this military industrial complex folks will actually move over to the Europe. That is how I see it, because they have made substantial investments there. So if you look at how EU is behaving, they were trying to put sanctions on India because of all the things that they were. The Economist is saying that Bangladesh is the ideal country, like they won the country of the year kind of thing. So when you look at all these tactics and antics that they are trying to do, it clearly shows that they have a vision of the world which is totally skewed, and they want to go in a certain direction. Now, for the deep state and the military industrial complex, that would be the right home for them if they are taken out of the US. So even if there is a deal with Russia on Ukraine by the Trump administration, before, I mean, the roadwork will be laid just before they come in. But when they come in, they will actually make that happen. Even if they do it, I still suspect that there will be a lot of needling from the European side going forward.
Yeah. So, Desh, coming to the next piece of news with regards to Iran, and Iran is bracing for a possible reimposition of incoming US. Trump's maximum pressure policy said on Saturday that 2025 would be an important year for its nuclear program. So, as far as Iran is concerned, with Israel attacking Iran and the whole tension in the Middle East, how do you see this panning out?
Yeah, so the background for this is that Obama had done a deal. There was this, they called it the GCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. So it was done in 2015. So this was a nuclear deal where they said, well, we won't put sanctions on you, but you have to stop doing the nuclear weapons stuff. And the nuclear, enrichment and all those things. And like, you cannot develop nuclear weapons going forward. So that was a deal. Trump and even Israel at that time, Netanyahu was not in favor of that deal, but they still did it. Obama still did that. And I still remember when Netanyahu came during the last days of Obama, he got a very poor, response from Obama's team. Now, when Trump came in 2018, at that time, Trump actually withdrew the whole deal. But there are certain, clauses which are still there from that deal, which are going to, expire in 2025. So they put some limitations on Iran's ability to do the enrichment and how much of stockpile it should have and things like that. So that is, unless and until the deal is renewed or there is some action done in terms of negotiations, that will, if that expires, then they get the ability to start doing enrichment and creating the stockpiles that they need. So that is their that is why 2025 is so important for them. Now, see, the thing is that they have been, like issues like that, and quite honestly, like Israel is not waiting for that. Like Israel has gone ahead, and they attacked there were airstrikes in Parchin military complex, which does the nuclear research and uh, creates equipments and all those things. And then there is missile production, sites. Uh, so like Khojir military complex and all that. So there have been like targeting by Israel. So Israel is not going to wait for all those things because like they think the right way is to just finish that off. Now they're also like if you look at the Pakistani channels, some of the serious analysts are discussing that Pakistan could also be a target for Israel, like especially because of the impact it has. See, like not many people know, but Pakistan's like Pakistan actually stole all the secrets like for the nuclear reactors. It was like this AQ Khan stole it from the NATO. He was in Holland, and that's where he stole everything from, and came over to Pakistan, and then created the first nuclear reactor. He got all the parts from US. That whole deal, that whole uh, like work that happened of how US gave like in a way, or Pakistan got all that equipment from US is a thriller. Like if you really read through it, so like Pakistan got those nuclear reactors. They call it P1, and then the second one was P2. They actually gave it to Iran. Iran called it IR1 and IR2. So uh, so now they are actually in like at the IR8 or something like that, stage. Like that's where they have like gone to. So in terms of the enrichment centrifuges that they have. So so in that sense, there is. So there was like Obama's narrative was that we'll have a policy of engagement. Uh, Trump's policy was of pressure and coercion. He was not going to engage with Iran. So his policy was closer to what Israel's policy is, uh, and like Israel is not going to do any engagement with Iran. That's where they are. So right or wrong, given where things are in the last say a few months and at least a few years now, especially after the October 7th, attacks. I don't think that Trump or Israel, like Trump or Netanyahu, will actually go with any engagement with Iran. They will like try and fight Iran, and Israel has very strong inroads into Iran. So its espionage, network is just way too powerful. They can target anyone. Right. So in that sense, I don't think they really need a deal. They just need, as Vivek Ramaswamy was saying, they need a diplomatic iron dome so that they can do whatever they need to do to make sure that Iran does not, use Hezbollah and like Hamas any further, and they can't like go on to do any mischief. So I think that's where the mind, as far as I understand, that's where the mind, of this coming administration is. So, so I don't think in terms of overall impact there will be a lot of impact for all this because, in any case, they are going to finish the nuclear, plans and work that is going on within Iran. So, so that's going to
Yeah.
happen.
So, Desh, with Trump coming to office, do you see a more peaceful world in 2025? Do you see that happening?
Uh, the aim will be for that. The aim will be to stop the wars. But like I said, the uh, all the all the things that they have set into motion, the deep state, the military industrial complex, the investment that it has made, I don't think it will let things go off so easily. And as far as the people, see, in the first term when Trump came, he was stumbling, from one thing to another. He did not have a very clear vision, very clear game plan to actually do like things, and he did not have the right people also to do those things. See, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are no pushovers, right? I was like, watching the interview of NVIDIA chief, and he was saying that, you know, to set up a data center with NVIDIA, chips for any other company, it takes around a year from start when they start negotiating to a final thing when the go live happens. It takes a year. And and he said, do you know how much time it took for uh, like these guys, the X team? It probably like he said around 9 months or something, or like much lower than that. That is a time. No, actually, 19 weeks. That is a time that it took for them to go from start to finish. Those guys are way too good. What they have been able to do with even the SpaceX, if you really see what they are trying to do, it is way beyond any other country, any other power, with all the money and talent at their disposal have been able to do. So he's not a pushover, and so in that sense, they have set they have set their eyes on changing the entire bureaucracy and like even the basic fundamentals of how US actually conducts its foreign policy. um, I don't think I really think Elon Musk has an axe to grind with George Soros, who actually runs the US policy in many ways. So if you go and talk to some of their top bureaucrats of the US administration, they will say that the US foreign policy and George Soros's foreign policy are always aligned. So in that sense, like I think the current inroads that have been made will be challenged in a big way. So when they are challenged, when the deep state and such entrenched powers are challenged in such a fundamental way, then going forward it will be very tough to not have retaliation from their side, because they have a lot of assets, whether judicial inroads that they have made, or whether they have made inroads into the bureaucracy of different countries, or the banks and the financial institutions and all those things. George Soros bought a radio station, a company which has 200 radio stations, running within the US. So if you really look at all these things, then like, do you think they are just going to let this thing go? They are not going to let this go. So they will be. I don't see a world where there will be complete peace, but I also feel that the level of mischief that was being done will like reduce, and also most importantly, by the time Trump leaves his office, the world would have changed fundamentally. Fundamentally, like it would have changed because of how the multipolarity would be blossoming in its full way, and it will be very very tough for a lot of countries to maneuver there, especially Europe. And like in that sense, see, I won't be surprised if they do overt like covert tactics also, where they're targeting world leaders, targeting certain economies, certain societies in different ways, by violence, by assassinations, by all those things, because that is the way they play the game. They were trying to play the same game against Trump. They, I'm sure they have tried to do this with Putin so many times. I'm sure they would have wanted to do, or they may have already tried to do that with like PM Modi as well as Xi Jinping. So that thing will keep going on behind the scenes. It's very important for those countries and those leaders to take care of those things. One, and second, also make sure that the societies are taken care of, because they have a blueprint, of how to create trouble. So, I think that needs to be taken care of.
Desh, coming to a last story, and this is very controversial, is that the mother of OpenAI whistleblower Suchir Balaji, who was found dead in his apartment, claimed that her son had crucial documents and information that would have turned the artificial industry upside down. And also, Elon Musk has also said that it could not have been suicide, and there's some sort of foul play. So, how do you see this? This particular case.
Yeah, so I think it's George Webb who has tried to like share that information. There's this, uh, let me just like I think it's George Webb who has been like trying to share all that information. He's a journalist, and he has gone and like taken like videos, and I saw one of the videos. So there is blood lying in the bathroom, and there is a clear um, scene of struggle, and there is a almost 8 feet area where there is the blood lying there, and there are clear indications of struggle. The private they have gotten private investigators to do the investigations, and they found that it was clearly not a suicide. Now, the funny thing is that like he's not the only, you know, I would say the only guy who has, only whistleblower, like who has been killed. You know, Boeing had two other uh, this thing also, the whistleblowers who were killed like recently. So, so there are, uh, you know, there is when America does all this virtue signaling to other countries that people are being killed there, and justice is not there, freedom of expression is not there, uh, that should be taken with a pinch of salt, because like if you really look at how the things are happening right now, with what happened to Suchir, and how someone actually did all this. It was, the blood is lying there. They did the private investigations after the body was taken out, and still the coroner had the gall to say that it was actually a suicide. So that means they are so blatant. And the only reason why this is coming out today is because you have something like Twitter, X, which has been taken over by Elon Musk. If this X was the one like which was there earlier on before like Elon Musk, this would have been buried. Like it would have been disinformation. But thankfully now it is not. So in that sense, if you really see, I think it's a like very very important that these things are happening. That the thing is coming out, and like I don't know. See, one of the things I'll tell you. There is a lot of investment from the intelligence agencies into all these companies. There are always four or five, you know, um, like companies or entrepreneurs who come up with almost a similar kind of ideas. There's only one that succeeds. There was another company which was like Twitter, but that didn't succeed. Twitter did. Similarly, there were other companies who were out there which like could have succeeded, but Facebook did. And if you really look at the people who have been working with them, it is very clear that there is a revolving door between the intelligence agencies and these social media companies. There is a reason why only one out of those five or six actually succeeded. There is only certain reason why OpenAI, despite all the problems that it had, is like going forward in such a big way. And there are like people who have come out of OpenAI and said very clearly that there are certain things which are happening right now in terms of the research that is being done and the progress, quote unquote progress that is being made, that can actually put humanity into danger. So if that is the case, then obviously someone much more powerful is behind all that. So I don't take it as just OpenAI. I take it as an entire, uh, you know, uh, like entire power structure that is there behind it. So when you try and bring down the darling of that power structure down, bring down that like darling of the power structure, at that time they are retaliation, and like they are saying that he had, like you are saying, he had certain information
Yeah,
that would have been very
documents.
pivotal, like against it, and it like all those things about integrity and trust and the the plagiarism and all those things is one thing. I think there was something else which was even
Yes.
more fundamental that he has not discussed. uh, I hope that comes out, but given how these things work, like I think, like I don't take it as just a corporate thing. I think it is much bigger than that. See, like people talk about Adani and all that. Why is that like in the deals that Boeing does, US establishment always has such a big role to play? Why is it that in the deals that were done with Rafael, their president was actually involved with that? There is a reason why all this is done, because they are national champions. They are national champion corporations, which are extremely important for the national security and the entire geopolitical like stuff that that country does. Similarly, Adani Group's work is very aligned to the geopolitical interests of India, at least under the Modi administration. So if you look at it from that standpoint, there is a reason why like Adani Group is backed up, because they in their process also align with that policies. See, Ambani's internal policies may or may not align with like Modi's policies all the time. But there is one group whose policies are always aligned with Modi's this thing. So obviously they'll make sure that that becomes a geopolitical thrust for them. Similarly, just like Facebook and like not X now, but Microsoft, Google, and all the other IBM, like that have always been there for them.
So yeah, Desh, that was a wonderful session, and we will see you again next week. Until then, wishing you as well as all the viewers of Canteen Meena a very happy New Year 2025. Until then,
Thank you,
Jai Hind.
Jaydev, and a very happy New Year to you and Meena ji, as well as all your viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.